He's leaving us in the dust. We're gonna be on.
How'd your game go? It wasn't so good. That's all right.
Okay, so we're going to start the meeting now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Selectmen's meeting for April 30th, 2019. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business has been a while coming, but we are going to offer a contract tonight to a new town administrator. Mr. O'Loughlin.
So first I want to thank, obviously, Community Paradigm and Bernie Lynch and his team for putting together the candidates for selection for our screening committee. And I want to thank my pick for the screening committee, Dan Biggins, for doing an admirable job. I know it wasn't an easy job to do and that they worked very hard at it. All we keep hearing is really good things from Bernie about how dedicated our committee was, and I just want to say thanks, Dan, for representing us.
And we're going to ask Rich, how about your representative?
Oh, again, so thank you to Bernie and his staff, but to the entire committee, and especially Scott McKinley, who was my choice. So a lot of history with the town, and he served the town well in this role, providing 3 quality candidates. So I want to say thank you very much to him and the rest of that group.
Very good. Ms. Mullen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Echoing like our colleagues here, like in addition to really screening out our candidates and really presenting the 3 exceptional finalists that they did to the board, one of the things that I viewed the role of the screening committee to do was to really be ambassadors for this board and for the town during the selection and interviewing process. And not only were we trying to attract people here, but like not only were people applying for the job that they wanted, but we were trying to attract people here and to instill in them really what Rockland is. And the group, I helped pick Nancy Collins, and through her efforts with everyone else's efforts, I mean, I really do think they became like incredible ambassadors of all things we know and love about Rockland. And so I thank Nancy and everyone who served on that committee.
I'm last again, but no,
Oh,
my colleague summed it up pretty nicely about the screening committee, Bernie and his group, who presented us with 3 final candidates who were top notch. And it will be a hard decision tonight, but I also want to thank Stacy Gardner, who I appointed to the committee. Her extensive experience in HR recruitment and her involvement within the community, she was a great choice to have on that screening committee. And I want to thank everyone involved for presenting us with the finalists.
and I'm going to thank everyone also, along with Jim Christmas, who, along with the rest of them, did a great job. Every one of the candidates that interviewed with us spoke highly of the process and how it was educational to them as well as to the town, and they did a great job. I can't thank them enough. They went over 20 resumes in the beginning, and to bring us the 3 men that showed up here the other night, and I think after tonight we should be all right.
So, I mean, I don't know what you guys are all thinking. I thought all 3 candidates were excellent, but I felt as though there was one candidate that really stood out. You know, just from the point that they walked in the room, I felt like it was, you know, we had an opportunity to catch, you know, lightning in a bottle. He had a ton of energy. I felt as though he's very intelligent. I've done some follow-up. I've talked to a couple people in this town. They've reached out to some people in the town that he's from, and it's only good things. So again, I don't know what you guys are thinking. I was really blown away by Douglas Lapp, who's the current assistant town administrator in Sandwich. I think he'd be the guy. You know, his energy is, I think, definitely what Rockland needs. I thought he presented very well. He answered all of our questions, and you know what? He wasn't afraid to push us back a little bit on some of our questions that we asked, and I think that's what we're looking for.
Mr. Mullen, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, like when Mr. O'Laughlin started to speak, I thought he was going to make a motion for me, but he was talking about well qualified, you know. He didn't mention handsome, but anyways, I actually agree completely with you, Mike. Like as you mentioned, we did have 3 really solid candidates to interview, but I was most impressed with Mr. Lapp. Like you could tell right from when he walked in that he was just very well prepared to come here. Like he knew about us. I heard that a few weeks prior to even going through any type of interview process, he came and had breakfast at Anita Marie's. So he really took the time to learn about the community here, who we are, who we want to be. I've also checked around at the people who I know in the Sandwich and the Cape Cod area. He comes extremely highly recommended. He has, not to be a dork, but I like people who are wonky. I like people who really dive into things and really get involved in the nuts and bolts of everything. And you could tell from talking with Mr. Lapp that he really had that technical experience, but he also had the passion for what he does as well. And in addition to hearing that he came to breakfast here about a month ago, we also had our economic development open house over the weekend at the sandpaper factory, and he showed up there as well. And I had the opportunity to talk with him a little more during that event, and it really just I knew where I was in terms of hoping for him, and being very excited about him, but the conversation I had with him over the weekend as well just really sealed the deal, and I'm very excited to support him. So that's all I have.
Ms. Nyman?
I'd have to agree with both the mics tonight. I think that might be a first. I know. I agree that Doug was very passionate and energetic when he interviewed with us. You could really see it in his face and his personality that he's well aware of what's going on in Rockland and what needs to be done. And I think his 14 years, I think it was, in Sandwich as the assistant town manager has prepared him well to be the next town administrator in Rockland. And I think he will fit right in, and I am happy to endorse him for our next town administrator.
Mr. Penny?
So thank you. So I think we had 3 very strong candidates, but like Mr. O'Laughlin mentioned, I found one that really stood out. Solid work experience, both locally and at the state level. He's continued his education throughout his career. Comes with strong references, like Mr. O'Laughlin and Mr. Mullen. Made some calls and did some research. Everything that I got back was glowing recommendations, as well as the recommendations that Bernie got. The word passion has been said by I think the 3 before me, and that really stood out to me during the interview process. The passion that he showed. Coming to the town, he came multiple times, and he really did his homework on trying to learn the community. The other thing that that I really liked about, as he talked about his management style, which is a team approach. And looking at his resume, he is a coach, which kind of ties right into that team approach. And he also comes with good fiscal experience, which I think all of us really wanted in our candidate. So I as well, Douglas Lapp.
I'm also going to go with Doug Lapp. But one of the reasons being we had 3 really good candidates, and I can't imagine the people that we had to sort of turn away and just come up with 3. So, you know, to Bernie Lynch and his people, great job, quite frankly. With the accountant also, you've really helped me out, and I think that the town of Rockland now is poised to become a leader in our area, quite frankly, because we are going to have one of the best teams available to any town at all levels, from the administrator, assistant administrator, and the town accountant. We have people that are going to do the job for us, and they know their business, and it isn't going to be, well, it's, you know, we're not training anybody anymore. Rockland has made the jump to the big time now, and hopefully it will carry on for quite a while. Both chiefs, the fire chief and the police chief, got calls from Sandwich, from their chiefs, saying that they wished us well because we were getting the best possible candidate, bar none. The chairman of their board of selectmen called me up. We had a conversation for quite a while, and he was the same way. He said, "You people be prepared to get going and be happy, because these people that we've hired now are professionals. They're well educated. They're dedicated to their job. They've proven their abilities, and you know, we're volunteers up here. I already told them all when we sit in the meetings, you're the people we hired to do the job. We're here to back you and lead you in whatever way we can to help." And I think that the 4 or 5 of us here that have been doing the job as volunteers are going to welcome a new day and age where we have people that we can walk up to, talk to, without fear of any type of baloney or any crap that's going on in the past. We want to make, I hate to use the old George Bush's thing, but a kinder, gentler Rockland where our people treat our citizens like they should be, with respect and dignity, regardless of whether or not they come in here upset with us or not. You don't have to put up with foul language and things, but you certainly have to listen to each and every one of them without displaying any kind of shortcomings back at them. And I'm here for 3 more years, and I'm going to insist that that's one of the #1 policies of this town, that there'll be no more public outbursts, if you will, you know. We're all adults, and we can all play together and work together, and I'm telling you right now, we got the best team we could ever have, and once we see this start working together, we're going to be in great shape. We're not in bad shape now. Town meeting's coming up. Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen have all our ducks in a row. We hope everybody will come out to town meeting to help us just do the business of the town once a year. We have a good record in the past of getting all our work done in one night, and if we get there on time, we'll get it done this year also. All right, that's enough windy stories for the town administrator. What would be the pleasure of the Board of Selectmen?
I'll make a motion that we make an offer and enter into contract negotiations for the purpose of hiring a new town administrator, pending the results of a background check.
I'll second that.
Douglas Lapp.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Welcome, Mr. Lapp. We'll be looking forward to sitting down with him and putting everything together and coming up with a decent contract and get you going.
Truly believe we've put together a very, very strong team.
Very good team.
Very
Very
good.
exciting stuff.
Yep. I've been here since 1996, and you know, it's taken that long. I mean, we had Kevin Donovan in the beginning as our first town administrator, did a great job for the times we were in. But this day and age is you need more than one person, and quite frankly, we got 3 good ones, so on we go. Anyway, Jen was going to give us an update on the DCR rail trail update. And David, are you? Oh, no, absolutely. Come on up, Dave.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just briefly, the purpose of this agenda item is to request the board's approval for an amendment seeking an additional $20,000 in 2018. The town received a Mass Trails grant in the amount of $100,000. That project is nearing completion, but it would benefit from the additional funding. And I've asked Dave to come this evening to give the board a brief update on the overall project.
Okay, so we're in our last phase, or our last DCR grant right now, which is the $100,000. As you know, we had the first one for $50,000. The second one was a combination with the town of Abington for $100,000, and this was our last stretch, which went from Liberty Street to the Hanover line, approximately 3,500 linear feet, 10-foot wide path. We came into a lot more obstacles on this third phase, where it's going to require a little bit more work. We did a little bit more drainage, a little bit more clearing. What else is there? Well, a lot more fencing. We had a lot of properties that abutted the rail trail, which we had to shut off access to the rail trail before we get our sign off from the DCR. So, like Jen said, there is an additional $20,000 that was available, so we applied for that. We're still under budgeted as a whole for where we are on our last phase, so we do have a little bit of funds left over to complete some of the project, but these will help us with some of our additional areas, such as the parking area at 638 Market Street. So we needed some additional funds there for some fencing, some shrubbery to block off. We went with privacy shrubbery as opposed to doing a hardscape with the fencing, so it's not, not so abrupt in between the properties. And we're gonna need also the recycled asphalt to back up the rail trail on that section, and we'll also probably head up to the other two sections to touch up those areas. So it is a process, and like Jennifer said, that we needed to go and get approval from you to get the additional funds, because the original was for 100. So we're looking to ask for the additional 20,000. We do have one other drainage area that we're working on the backside, if you're familiar with it at all, where Liberty Street meets the rail trail behind where the old Little Peach is. It's presently Richdale's. So we have started work on that. So we're waiting to get the funding amended, and then we'll proceed from there. And then there is access to more funds every year. So, talking to, they're very friendly with working with us. We've been working with Amanda Lewis over there, and Jen's going to be working with us on trying to get additional funds for that, so we can get more linkage. So we can use that as far as, where the Dunkin' Donuts is, where we cross over Union Street. We could ask for more additional funds to do crosswalks, ADA, do some more areas in front of the Dunkin' Donuts. I know, Mike, I talked to you about that on Saturday, that we're looking to try to get a easement in front of the Dunkin' Donuts, so we could do like a small mini park there. And that will let us, we haven't really completed that area yet, and then we could kind of wrap up that area. So it is going to allow us to link to the schools, allow to maybe go to the sandpaper factory with some, some pedestrian-friendly linkage there, and we can use that as far as crosswalks, ADA. So, that's pretty much where we are right now. So
if the board approves the town making that request, I just have two documents, Mr. Chairman, that require your signature.
Okay, and the funding's coming from?
Department of Conservation and Recreation Mass Trails Program.
Very good.
So you need a vote on that, correct? I'll make a motion.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank
You did a
you.
great job, both of you.
Thank you.
Good job, great job on that.
No. Yeah. All right, next on the list is talk about the town meeting. Any discussion regarding town meeting and what's going to happen?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, tomorrow morning, there's a coordinated meeting. You have a terrific custom here of gathering your town clerk, your moderator, your attorneys, and other parties of interest to go over each and every item on the warrant. That meeting starts at 8:45 a.m. tomorrow. I think we're going to do the land use portions first if we can, because we've got at least one member of the planning board coming in who hasn't experienced such a such a gathering, and we think it would be helpful to them, and then he can get off to work. Kudos to the board and the FinCom and all the people that carried all the water to get us to this point. With the exception of the McKinley School, everything is buttoned up pretty tight. Mr. O'Laughlin, the board's liaison in this budget season, really was your point man, especially in the painful exercise of paring down money requests, which were, I think, a little more than triple for warrant articles, more than triple the amount of money that was actually available to meet that. So that can sometimes be painful, but it was done fairly and efficiently. And after tomorrow morning, I think we'll find a lot of comfort in the fact that almost the entire warrant, 80-plus articles, are pretty tight. And I also understand, I can't wait to witness it firsthand, you have a town moderator, a traffic cop, a town moderator that seems to move the meeting along quite well. Unresolved, and we're all hand-wringing here right now, waiting for additional cost estimates on repairs, repair costs to the McGinley building. I think it's pretty well chronicled right now, the difficulty that we find ourselves in, and we're looking at a whole range of options of, fix and stay in place, or move out, or temporarily relocate programs, and et cetera, et cetera. The primary focus has been to keep the programs going, at McGinley or elsewhere. So unless and until those cost estimates come in, and it's going to be about another 2 or 3 days, it would seem, at least 2 more days, then we really get our heads together here and decide how to approach town meeting on that. If I get into all the details of all the work that's being done by a couple of dozen people on this project right now, we'd be here all night, and until the cost estimate comes in on the sprinkler system rehabilitation, I think discussing a specific course of action might be fruitless, because until those costs come in. So I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. The views and opinions of,
Can I just ask a question on that? Based on that, and when we get the information, we obviously have to, if this board does want to come up with a plan for town meeting based on the open meeting law, we're not even looking at Thursday anymore, because of that 48 hours is already sailed.
Yeah.
Should we think of, should we post just to protect ourselves with a meeting on, if folks are available on Friday or Saturday at this point, just so we have something in place?
The chairman and I have discussed,
Right.
The probable need for a special meeting of the board to convene on this, and the timing of it is, it's up to you. I see a lot of heads nodding, so I can see there's a consensus that, a meeting, not the hour before town meeting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
on a day before town meeting day, you've got to roll up your sleeves and work this out. So I leave it up to you, Mr. Chairman, and the board to.
I'm pretty free, I think. So it's up to the rest of the board I can be there any time, day or night, so. What's the best?
I'll make myself available.
Yeah, I can do that.
I think we'll just
On
help
which day?
hostage by when the plan comes also. If the plan doesn't, if the report doesn't come till midday Friday,
Right.
I don't want to box us in and not have
So-
us have anything.
So do we wanna-
You might want to make a post anyway.
Do we wanna
Decide
post
what's
something
happening.
for Saturday?
We should post it
Saturday?
for
Morning?
as often as we need to, for whatever day we have to. We're going to meet prior to town meeting anyway.
Yeah.
And we can always, if we have to, open and close the warrant right then and put whatever we need to on the town meeting floor, because people are expecting it anyway, so.
We did, Mr. Chairman, with Attorney Clifford's help, identify a couple of warrant articles that we thought that if you needed, study money or construction money, that some possible floor amendments could. Remember, before we had the warrant posted, we made sure that there'd be at least one or two portals to accommodate that.
And looped in this as well.
So Saturday, and to give them time to have a conversation, maybe
Because
like
they're gonna have their meeting on Monday
6.
prior.
Right, same as
Yeah.
us. They usually meet
Usually come in
together.
at 5:30, I think.
Okay.
Is that when they usually?
Or whatever,
5:30.
but however it works out, we usually meet, the
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen has a meeting prior to.
Yep.
The FinCom has a meeting prior to.
But we
And-
probably want to have a meeting before.
Like
so
Saturday
we can-
morning? Could that
Yeah,
work?
I'd say earlier the better on Saturday.
Do we know when the report's coming in?
No idea.
Some,
Probably 2 or 3 days away.
Yeah.
So if we,
it could
t-
come
if we
to
So-
tentatively,
Saturday.
if we tentatively do it
So
for
if it comes
Saturday
Thursday or
morning.
Friday, if we do Saturday, we're
up Saturday
pretty
with
sure
nothing.
we're going to have information.
And if we don't, you just say,
Right,
I
then we
I
say-
believe
information
you'll
and
have it by
we dismiss.
Saturday,
We
so
just don't have a
posting for a Saturday meeting,
Yeah.
or we should
I think
open it.
probably makes sense.
Can everyone do Saturday morning?
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know, what do you think?
8:30? 8:30 fine with me.
8:30
I'm-
works, I
yeah.
guess, yeah.
I was thinking breakfast at Mike's house at 6:30.
We're up. Trust me, we are up.
7:30 Saturday morning it is then.
Would you say 7:30? I think
7:30.
you said 8:30.
If I said, we're not having breakfast?
No.
8:30 be fine, I won't deceive you, Mike.
No, I can.
Actually,
Eggs. Omelets?
you got a hole in your ear or something?
Yeah, I do. Got a rock shot to it today. Believe it or not.
So-
All right, so 8:30 on Saturday morning, we will meet here to discuss. Are we putting just the regular warrants, the entire meeting on the agenda, if you will, all the warrants to discuss, or in case anything else comes up?
We've had on the last couple of agendas, Mr. Chairman, the warrant discussion,
Right.
so that's a pretty wide berth
There you go.
for us. So
That's
we
why I
probably
just want to make sure it's
similar-
on there this time, so
a
that,
similar posting. And there might be, in fact, I know there's at least one cleanup issue. The charter study article, a request was made for 28,000, and I think we show 25 in the warrant. We'll discuss that tomorrow morning, and so tomorrow morning may bring little things like that that we might discuss with you on Saturday as well, but they won't take but a few minutes.
very good.
So before, I know there's a lot of people in the audience. I want to make sure that everyone knows, mentioned dozens of people. There is no intention of closing any program. So, where they end up, we're not sure yet, but there's no intention, no discussion to close anything. These things are too important to the town. It's what makes the town of Rockland what it is. So we will find solutions, but until we have all the information, we just can't. We don't know yet.
Very good. The views and opinions, the expressed opinions of the Board of Selectmen, and not the opinions of the board itself. Mr. Mullen.
Just quickly following up on what Mr. Penny just mentioned, over the past few weeks, this board and all of us have gotten these probably upwards just over like a dozen emails really conveying what Mr. Penny and Mr. O'Laughlin just mentioned, and I just want to thank everyone here, thank everyone who has weighed in, who has weighed in with the school committee last week. It's really, convey the urgency that we all know to address this, but also really, and we also saw it over the weekend at the sandpaper factory relating to the economic development study that, really so many families in this town really are so proud of Rockland that we do have programs for families, and we have opportunities for young people. We have programs to support working families, and like it was shown like in the emails, it was like it was again conveyed over the weekend, and you know what, to Mr. Penny's point, we do understand that we've had very passionate conversations about it, and because it is like a passionate issue, and you know, we all believe in it because we all understand Rockland and what makes Rockland Rockland. So, like again, we'll be meeting 8:30 on Saturday morning to continue working through that. I also want to thank everyone who came out to the cleanup day on Saturday. There was a little bit of rain. Dave Taylor showed up in his really good-looking work boots, so that was impressive. And then everyone who joined us at the sandpaper factory as well. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Peter. Huh? I liked your boots. I was jealous, but that's all I got.
Fashionista.
Thank you.
Mr. Penny?
So again, not to, you know, sometimes we have to, unfortunately, come to a critical crisis to finally get enough people, you know, attention to get something done. So I think in the end, what has happened at the community center will be a good thing and a positive for the town. I know at this point, whenever there is an unknown, it just breeds discontent and uncertainty. And again, reiterate, we're talking dozens of people here that are working on this. These programs are not going to close. We will find a place for them if it's not at the building. Something I said a couple of weeks ago, and I truly believe it, that building does not make any of the programs. It just happens to be where they are housed right now. It's the people that run these programs. Jean and that youth commission, that since she has been in there, what that program has become. The dedicated staff to the daycare. My kids actually benefited from that. You know, all of the Chipmunks program up there, WIC, everything that's up there. We'll find a place, but the most important thing is that the programs will continue, and the people that have made those programs what they are today will continue running those programs.
Ms. Nyman?
I just want to recognize Vinny for all of his work last week. They renamed the Veterans Office at McKinley School after Tony Materna. I just want to thank him for everything he put into that. Really great event, and I want to thank him.
Mr. O'Loughlin?
I just want to agree with my colleagues, both Mike and Rich Penny. It was never the intent of any of the members on this committee to close any programs. You know, the conversation was about a building, and you know, for us, I think you know, many of us have kids, and I think safety is paramount for all of us. So, you know, I commend Scott Duffy for doing what he had to do, and now it's the responsibility of all of us and all the people in the audience to move the town forward and find homes for these programs. And I think with all the people that are working on it, we'll get there. I also, Jim, I want to thank you for your nice words about the budget, but I really want to give a shout out to Serena Amaral in the accountant's office. I mean, I may have run point, but she was a rock. She was a really great asset to the town. She did a phenomenal job stepping in there. Everett Kinshirf, obviously, as well, and Megan Fontaine as well. And also the finance committee, John Pumphrey, first year as the chairman, and he's done a great job. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all their help.
You had big shoes to fill.
Yeah. The allowance.
Does that mean I can have Dave's boots?
You know, I'd like to just say a few words on the school issue. I unfortunately for Rockland, we have old infrastructure. And with old infrastructure comes repair time. We see it with the roads. We got a roads project going on now for how many years because the roads were so bad, and we had to spend the money for it. And now we're coming to this building that's, old. They want a lot of money to fix it. So it becomes determination, where's the money going to come from to fix the thing? And so that's why we got all these people working to solve this issue so that everybody comes out happy in the end. I got to believe that once we get whatever we get in place, the new administration that we just put together in here is going to take command of the situation, and we'll work out the details according to whatever has to be done for the town. Nobody wants to see discord in the town. We are looking to make Rockland the best place to live, and we're doing it. I want to thank the people of the town for being patient, but quite frankly, this board accomplished its major goal we set in December, and that was to have a new town administrator and a town accountant, and we didn't know Marcy at the time, but we'll throw in Jen, and done by May 1st. To be all set, in place by May 1st, and tomorrow's May 1st, and we're offering the guy a contract, and we got everything rolling, and that's a good thing. So bear with us till we get them all in place. So they're sitting in the office, and we'll introduce them to you, and on we go. I can't think of the other things I wanted to say, except for I want to thank the board, quite frankly, for all the hours that we've put in as volunteers to help make Rockland a great place to raise your family and live. Thanks, and good night.